Hello there, welcome. This is Kate Mackenzie, and today I'm sharing with you my interview with the divine, wonderful Ben Miller. And I'm talking to him about the time that he won a BAFTA and how for him writing, acting and his creativity is his way of surrendering, of letting go, of releasing. So I hope you enjoy this interview and wishing you all a wonderful day. Thank you. Ben, so much for meeting me. It's very, very, very generous and full of love.
Not at all, no, it's a pleasure.
Thank you so much. And I must say, I do feel very excited because you've just won a BAFTA. I feel like
it's great,
I'm interviewing a BAFTA award-winning actor.
Yeah. It's great. It's great.
It's just so thrilling.
It is really exciting. We didn't expect to win either, because we've been nominated for lots of things over the years and never actually won anything. So yeah, it was really great. The first thing to win is a BAFTA. That's fantastic.
Does that suddenly open doors? Is it not quite as simple as that?
I don't think it does. But I think what it does is it kind of maybe. I think it certainly makes a difference to me personally. It kind of feels like, because you devote a lot of your life to doing something like that, so it feels like, it feels like a good, it feels like a good way to mark that. And I was just, they're filming this new comedy episodes at the moment, and they needed 6 BAFTAs for a sketch that they're doing, for a little scene that they're doing. And they asked me if they could borrow my BAFTA, and I'm like, So that's when I realised how much it meant to me. I was like,
absolutely.
Well, I mean, I could lend it. We all like to be helpful and stuff. Again, but how will I know that the one I get back is the one that I got on the night?
Absolutely, that's got energy now. I mean, that's like it is a serious mark in your life.
It's great. It's good. Yeah. It's good for morale. It's good for morale on the show and everything,
And also, I mean, I came to see your show, filmed live, brilliant, amazing. And the quality, which I talked to you about, and I'd love to talk to you about, the quality, the writing, the sets, the costumes, the actors, you.
Hey.
But, I mean, the standard was astounding. Everything looked brilliant. The space wank guy, and I can't remember if that's what it's called, but
that's exactly what it's called.
And the Sir Allens, I can't remember what that sketch is called.
Yes,
They
Phil and Ken.
Yeah. Everything, every detail was brilliant, and I did talk to you about that. But I'd love to know a bit more. You were saying that this time you've got that potential to bring brilliance together?
Well, you kind of, the longer it goes, the more you get a chance to sort of, you get a chance to find out how the show works. That's one thing, and also, you all get better at making it. Really, I think, and you also, because you learn a lot each time you do it about things that you might think would work, but that don't work, and vice versa. So you get a chance to kind of put a few things right, and also, it's a funny thing. I think with comedy, it needs to be on a lot. It needs to be repeated because people then get it better as well. So
and also, does it, like you were saying, because it's on a lot, you get a chance to make better choices. I changed that. I do. This.
So we went through, before we filmed the series, we went through all the sketches that we'd ever filmed actually in our BBC series, and sort of talked a lot about what we liked about them, what made them work, what didn't work, and then kind of thought, okay, let's try and do that. A lot of the time it was actually what was better, it was just waiting for a better idea was the kind of thing, it's kind of going, you tend to get a quite good idea and you go, oh, great, okay, let's go and do that, but to wait, let the quite good idea come and go and wait for the really exceptional idea is it takes a bit of nerve actually, because you kind of just want to fill the show. Do you know what I mean?
Of course you do. How do you wait for the idea? Because is that the idea from you and Alexander, or is that the idea from writers? When you're saying wait for the idea,
I mean it's often from writers, and you kind of, but to a certain extent yourself as well. It's like in any sort of writing process, I think you get to a point where you run out. Do you know what I mean? You get to a point where you get as far as you can go with the ideas that you've got, and you enter a new sort of exciting region where you don't have any ideas and you don't know what you're doing, and that's quite often, I think, where the best stuff comes. It's once you kind of, there's a certain amount of stuff that your conscious mind kind of churns over all the time, and when you sort of clear all that out, you get all these ideas and little things that quite often that's the point when you then start to get the good stuff, weirdly, you know.
So it's the risk of the unknown. It's the risk.
Yeah, I think so. It's taking
unknown.
It's going to. I mean, there's a great Kafka quote, isn't there? Of like, I'll paraphrase it, but it's basically, just. I mean, this is what it means, even more rather than paraphrasing it. It's basically, don't. You know, you sit at your desk and you sort of struggle and you're trying to come up with ideas, but if you just sit and wait, then eventually the whole universe will reveal itself to you. And I think there's something, because you need to be just taking some kind of, for it to really work and sort of move other people and make them laugh, or it needs to be a kind of something that really goes quite deep down, I think. You know what I mean? So it's not going to be the first thing. You don't really want to contact that stuff on a daily basis. Do you know what I mean? And you kind of.
So something deeper in a way.
I think it's got to be something. Yeah, there's got to be something quite, you know, profound about it. I think to sort of work.
So maybe that's when something seems like it's genius. Maybe it does hit something deeper.
It's difficult to say. It's the thing about the genius thing is it's just so hard to get an idea to work fully as it is in your head. Never kind of. Sometimes you never quite ever get to achieve the idea. It's very rare. Sometimes you get something else which is really, really great, but you probably didn't intend it. You've just kind of, you know, it's very hard to get the actual get what the finished piece of work to really reflect the idea. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's usually a bit of a pale imitation of it.
Is there anything that you feel has, or do you feel like you get near? I mean, do you have a sense of how you've really improved? I mean, how it's really come together?
Well, we work together much more than we used to. It's much more collaborative, and we work with other people, and you know, we don't try and do it all ourselves anymore. You know, we really listen very hard to other people, and it's a team that makes and writes the show, and we all have to be there. You know, we all have to turn up. Turning up is the biggest part of it, actually. It's like all turning up on the same day, because you kind of think, well, they're the rest of them there. Do they really need me? You know, so turning up is a big thing, and then it's kind of just sort of trying not to have an idea.
But also, you know, like when I've talked to you over time, and you're talking to you now, there's something about, like, I don't know, would you say something about relationship and maturing and allowing, like you're saying, there's more of a group now. It's not all you who has to produce everything. It's not, or even just you and Alexander. It's actually a team, and it's working together.
That's very true. It was a team. We worked together, and you try and sort of, it's a very, very hard thing, but you try to be honest with yourself and honest with other people about what you really feel about the stuff that you're working on. It sounds quite weird to sort of talk about this like comedy, because everyone sort of seems, quite often sort of thinks that kind of comedy is not, that people don't go through the same process that they go through with other things, but you absolutely do. You know, you absolutely do go through the same process, and you know, it's a kind of I think it is about maturity as well. I think it's about trying to do it with less ego and just all having the same goal, which is just to make the best possible thing for other people to watch. You know, so ultimately it's about that, isn't it? You know.
So, you know, in that sense, when I talked to you before, you know, now you're working with actors who are at the top of their game. So that's a very different. I mean, you know, you probably know about this anyway, but Boris Becker was in the same youth tennis group with Steffi Graf.
Really?
And they say this often, people who've done really well often been around other people doing really well, and there's
definitely
an inspiration, you know. So
it's absolutely crucial
got,
who you spend your time with. Yeah, absolutely.
So now you've got people at the top of their game, your writers, your actors, and
and all kinds of sort of
feeds,
feeds,
generates things. Yeah.
I mean, my little group at college, funnily enough, included. The little group of friends at college included some amazing people, Steve Mangan, Rachel Weisz.
This was at Cambridge?
Yeah, our group of friends,
Wow.
David Farr, who's now sort of assistant, sort of vaguely in charge of the RSC or something.
Wow.
Gareth Edwards, who produces Mitchell and Webb.
Gosh.
Everybody's kind of gone and done.
So you were in a.
Jess Butterworth, who just written a film, Fair Game, with Sean Penn.
And did he write the Huge?
He did, yeah. He wrote the original play, yeah, that's right, yeah.
So you've just taken not only a BAFTA winner, but you've just also taken a film
to Edinburgh. Yeah.
So how was that? You directed it?
It was great, yeah. It was really good. It was really interesting because this was the first time I played to an actual audience that wasn't sort of people who was in some way connected with the film. So it was like,
what kind of audience was this?
Like the public.
Film?
The public could buy tickets
public?
at the festival. They buy tickets and come to the screening. So you didn't have to be a delegate of the festival to see the screening. And and they really, it was really, really interesting because I thought it was a comedy, but it's not a comedy. It's about comedy. It's kind of like King of Comedy or Broadway Down the Road. It's about that comedians before they become funny. So it's kind of. It's a sort of that.
Do you mean in their earnest training?
Yeah, in their earnest training. It's a kind of like, in their earnest training, a sort of a struggle and sort of desperation and
before they do the letting go in.
Before they get the hang of it. Yeah. So it's not a comedy. It's actually quite. It's got funny moments in it, but it's actually quite sad. A lot of it, actually. Yeah.
And how did that feel? Because your baby, it's your baby essentially, isn't it?
Yeah,
putting it out there. How did that feel? Putting that.
Well, it was very interesting. The first screening, I tried to watch it with the audience, and I managed about sort of 10 minutes right, and I had to leave. So I just couldn't think. And then the second screening, I sat and watched the whole thing. And the third one, I just went for the end and just spoke at the end. I kind of felt like in those 3 screenings, sort of off on its way, really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So is it allowed out? Like after this, do you know what I mean? Like,
well, no. I mean, it'll continue being shown at festivals. So you can always, if it's at a local festival, you buy a ticket and go and see it. But otherwise, hopefully, it'll be released in cinema sometime this autumn. But there's no concrete plans for that yet. But it's the kind of thing that would be in a few independent cinemas, and, that kind of thing, and then be on TV and DVD, that kind of thing. Okay. So
do you feel happy then with what's happening and how it's?
Yeah, I feel delighted. Yeah, I feel really, really, really pleased with it. Yeah, because some really serious film reviewers like Wendy Ide and in the Times and Jason Solomons and the Observer, and they've written really, really nice things about it, and they didn't write nice things about many films at the festival. So that's good. That's
profound. And does that mean, because I know you were writing a rom-com? Sophie Winkleman.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen about that. I need to sort of do some more work on it, but I mean, I still love the idea. I just feel like I want to kind of get Huge out there first before I start thinking about anything else.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I want to sort of give it the best possible launch rather than kind of channeling my energy somewhere else and into something else.
Yeah, and I suppose. Because you do so many things. I mean, how do you do that? Is there again waiting for the space and the gap for the universe to come in, or do you also have to do quite a lot for Huge? How does it? Do you have other people help you with that?
Well, I mean, you hire, you work with loads and loads of brilliant people, brilliant publicists. And finances of the film, Matador are really, really great. Producers great. You just work with really good people, don't you? And then they. But you have to turn up, don't you? That's the thing. You have to be there. You have to turn up. You have to give time. And you have to give things time.
Yes.
Kind of, I think that's the.
Yes.
So you wouldn't want to be doing something else when
No. So do you have time to give huge now? Because you have space. Yeah. Like your Armstrong and Miller shows are recorded now. They're recorded for
finished.
the autumn.
We're just finishing our book this week, and then the next thing we're doing is going tour in September. So we've got summer to sort of do stuff for huge and promote it and stuff like that. Yeah.
And what would you say, Ben? I mean, you've had a very successful career, but also you've done stuff like, you know, That Worst Week of My Life, and Wallpaper, and various different things that really hit the vibe, you know, including Armstrong and Miller. Armstrong and Miller, especially this one, I mean, I'm sure it's always been the case, but this one seemed to encapsulate British culture in such an incredible way. We go, that's Britishness.
Yes.
That's Britishness.
Yeah, exactly.
In a way that, you know, because we were so ashamed, we were much more obsessed with American culture, but now there seems to be this reclaiming of what Britishness is, and you seem to be epitomising it. So do you feel it's almost like you're in the right moment? Like each year, at least each year, maybe several times, but each year you seem to be doing something which is epitomising something for British culture. Do you feel that? Do you have a sense of that?
I think that to a large extent it's sort of luck, you know. I mean, but also I think you need. It's just as long as if you're sort of following if you're just following what you find really, really funny, if you're just sort of, you know, if you're honouring what you find funny, then that's what should happen, isn't it? Because then you're just one of many people who's probably feeling the same kind of thing, you know? So I think it's about sort of being present again, isn't it? It's like being present in the culture and sort of really enjoying. I mean, all of us on the show do watch movies and films and read magazines and read newspapers, and, you know, we're very in touch and watch people on the street and talk about people we've met. You know, that's all a big part of the show, is talking about things that are kind of happening now, you know, and trying to find things that are happening now.
That's so interesting, because in a way, like, even watching the Alan Sugar characters, I'm sorry, not their names, but you know, it felt rock and roll, even though it was like carpets.
I know.
They were so rock and roll with it. And every scene, you know, the language, it just all the different things. It felt like just totally in the moment, present.
Good.
It felt totally like we're being channeled. You know, comedy in a way. But it was so real as well. It was like, it was as real as the carpet, as real as the sofa, but it was also extra magic, which is presence.
That's great.
That's what happens in presence, isn't it? In presence you have eternity, because you're not worrying about what's happening next. You can just enjoy it, can't you, in a way? So.
Yeah, well, yes, exactly. The only thing that really exists is the present. Yeah. And
it is very present. But even all the things, I mean, do you find that when you get sent scripts, you see whether you feel like that? Because even Wallpaper and, like I said, all these comedies, and you've done tons of programs, but they seem to hit the moment when you do stuff.
I only do things that I really, it's, you know, life is too short to get to do things that you don't really care about. So I just tend do things that I love, and as long as you love it, then I think it'll work out, you know. So with moving Wallpaper, you know, the trouble is, if you start sort of thinking, will this show be a hit? Will that work? Will this work with the C2 bracket? Or is it on schedule at the right time on ITV1? You'll drive yourself mad. If you just think, I think this is a really, really funny show and I'd really like to play that character, and I can't think of anything I'd rather do than do it, then, you know, it's I'm so glad I got to play that character in that show. I can't tell you how.
Tell me why.
I just loved it. The second I read it, the Jack Jonathan Pope thing, I just thought, I totally know who this person is. No research required. I totally, you know, sort of started speaking the voice sort of immediately. I sort of read it. You know, I sort of know exactly how he talks. It sounds fantastic. It's just great. It's just kind of. I just absolutely love playing, just a complete arsehole as well. Just a total arsehole. Yeah.
That's so brilliant.
Kind of weirdly, and he was kind of a brilliant man. He was kind of. What I loved about the character was he was something he was really good at. He was really good at producing TV shows. You know, he had immense shortcomings as a human being, but there was something that he was very good at. You know, kind of got a lot of respect for. I just love it. It's great.
It's so fantastic. So what's given you this trust? Because it seems like you follow your heart, you follow your truth, you're authentic.
Well, it's a long journey. We're all on that journey, aren't we? I mean, we're all trying to do that. I don't know. Sometimes you do better than others, don't you? I think that getting older definitely makes it more urgent for me, because you kind of think, well, have I got, the time that I, now I sort of, if you're being generous, halfway through, arguably more than halfway through, you kind of think, I really want to make things count, because there's so many. So it's got to be pretty amazing, really, to want to give some of your life to doing it, hasn't it? Really?
Do you feel like you've been given a gift? It's like service. You must do this well. Do you have a friend of my mum's did a dissertation on top musicians.
Yeah.
And she had access to a lot. And all of them bar one.
Yeah.
I mean, this is music, but I know you're a musician as well.
Yeah.
All of them bar one felt that something came through them when they made music, and they, in a way, they use it. They opened up and allowed the space.
Yeah.
And something came through them.
Yeah.
And I maybe people wouldn't talk like that about comedy and writing and filmmaking. I don't know, but is there something about kind of you do talk about showing up and allowing and waiting for the space?
Yeah, it's exactly the same thing. I think they call it sports, and call it in sport they call it the flow, don't they? When you're in the flow, and it's kind of like it's kind of known human behaviour, isn't it? As you become sort of technically proficient in something, you reach a point where something happens and you sort of lose conscious awareness, and you're kind of just doing it and not thinking about it. You lose your sort of self-consciousness and that kind of stuff. Acting's very like that, because it's like you just have to go with it. Acting, it's one of the things I love about it. You just totally have to go with it. You can't plan. You can't. You just got to go with it. And you don't really know what happens while you're doing it. You're not consciously doing it. It's just sort of, you're reacting, you're listening, you're doing stuff. So you are the creative space. When you're acting, you enter the space you were talking about, that zone. Well, a lot of acting is about, paying attention. Again, it's about listening. Your attention and focus is on the other actors, and you have to be in the moment. You have to be there. You do. I mean, you do. Unless you're playing a character that's not in the moment, but you do. Yes, you do have to be sort of. You do. That's the whole thing about it. And whatever happens, you've got to go with it. And And how do you? Every time, obviously, you've been generous and let me interview you before, but every time I meet you, you do seem more and more balanced, and yet you're doing more and more. So. How is that? Do you find you stretch? You're able to stretch into doing more and having a life and doing everything. Do you find? I get a lot of help. I've got a lot of people that help me. And I've got brilliant. Everything: agents, publicists, personal assistants. To support. Is a big key to you being able to vision, so you create, do the things that you do well, and then you get support to do the rest. Sort of hand over as much of the other stuff to people who. Otherwise, you couldn't do it all, could you? No. You can't. No, you can't. And then does that mean you have diet downtime for you as well? Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, my day is quite strict. This is very unusual to do this in the evening for me. I mean, I would kind of, my day begins at 9:30 and ends at 5:30 every day. So. I don't do stuff outside that. Oh, thank you. Do you know what I mean? Yes, I do. I think, so you keep it. Yeah. So I find that you sort of keep it within a certain time, because you've got more than that you can't do. No, and also then you have life. Yeah. When talking to you now, just thinking about the Britishness of your show and seeing it, there's something so humane and kind of commonality about all of us. There's even when you're talking about your wallpaper guy just now, just the way you gave us the window into him, but you do that with all your characters, so that somehow we look at your characters and we go, I love you, I love you. Yeah. Like you said, even if you're showing them with all their flaws, and you go, I love you. Yeah. Are you aware of doing that? Are you aware of giving this kind of, we're all in this together
something.
Yeah, the show. The thing we take. The thing we say about our sketch show is it's about the things we all share. It's about the stuff that we shared. It's about shared experiences, and so there shouldn't be anything in the show which is unfamiliar to anybody. It might be a new way of looking at it, but the touchstone should all be stuff that we go, that's so happened to me. I can't believe it. Like one of my favourite sketches in the series is this thing where, in the middle of some big dramatic scene, someone will just go, sorry, one second. Shit. I forgot to put the bins in. And I just stop it, and then you see them running down the street with the bins. And it's going to be anything like a Quaker in the 17th century. It's in the middle of an orgy at a 70s party. You know what I mean? It was somebody's. It's really fun. Because we just all laughing. That's something we all. That's right. Everybody does that.
That's right.
Bins today. Yeah.
I think that's the thing. That's your show really kind of. It's like a heart of Britain or something. It's all different aspects of British culture, isn't it?
Yeah.
But really, like everyone can watch it and go, "Oh my goodness."
Yeah.
I totally get it. That's brilliant. So love, balance, harmony, a nice society.
Yeah.
Peace.
In all, across
the board.
Across creation. That's how it is, isn't it?
Good love everywhere.
Yeah. Love.
So beautiful. Thank you so much, Ben.
So that was my interview with Ben Miller. What a wonderful human being, and so generous, so kind, so authentic, offering of himself and sharing who he is and the things that matter to him. So I hope that you've really enjoyed that, and I hope that you tune in to more shows. It'd be lovely to be with you, and wishing you a most fantastic day or evening wherever you are.